Hi sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Nanyacim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash the subscribe button, turn on the notification so you get notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all, and I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you for always coming back to watch my videos and subscribing. You all are the real MVP. So today we'll be talking about something that caught my attention. And I am going to leave what started this conversation here so you all can read it and understand, right? And it says, colonizers only won because of guns. That is why they can't give it up. Every indigenous tribe worldwide beats them in hand-to-hand combat, all right? And this is something you definitely want to hear, because like this man fully went all out explaining this and the very rest of it. Stay glued to the screen. Do not click away. Let me roll the clip. So here we go.
Hey, good morning. It wasn't just their guns that made them successful in warfare. It was their filthy European diseases and their filthy white habits. You see, when Cook first got to the island of Hawaii in 1779, there were roughly 800,000 people on the island. But after he introduced tuberculosis, gonorrhea, syphilis, and a host of other diseases, by 1879, the number was down to about 400,000 people. And by the 1900s, that number dropped to about 37,000 people. Then the United States got involved, colonized Hawaii, stole it from the indigenous people at gunpoint, and made it a state. Now let's back up real quick to the 1800s, when white people brought typhoid, yellow fever, measles, mumps, rubella, whooping cough. They brought all these filthy European diseases to the island, and that's what helped to depopulate the Hawaiian Islands. The same thing happened to the indigenous peoples of Australia. When Cook first encountered them, he said, boy, they're the happiest people I've ever met, and then gave them tuberculosis, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Every island that Cook touched, he brought with him these venereal diseases that helped to wipe out indigenous populations. These filthy Europeans did the same thing to the indigenous peoples of North, Central, South America, and the Caribbean when they gave them blankets filled with smallpox. From 1492 to 1592, these filthy Europeans, I'm talking about Columbus and them, Cortez and them, killed about 8 million indigenous people in the lifetime of one Betty White, just one Betty White. These filthy Europeans killed 8 million indigenous people. It's not just their guns that made them successful. It was their filth.
I don't know what to say. I don't even know where to start. That is another one. I am absolutely confused. Like, how? Oh my goodness. You know what? Let me know what you all think. If you know more about this, I definitely do want to read from you. I definitely also want to learn. All right, so let's get into the main video. Here we go.
Hey, good morning. Let me tell you about the time when the indigenous people of Hawaii killed disease-ridden colonizers who tried to kidnap their king. But first, we've got to set the stage. It's October of 1778, and the indigenous people of Hawaii are celebrating Makahiki, their new year. Now, this takes place when the Makali'i, or the Pleiades, rises over the horizon after sunset, which kicks off 4 months of peace, giving people time to rest, relax, play games, sports, dance, and all sorts of festivals. And most importantly, it was a time to honor the god Lono, a god of peace, agriculture, rainfall, and music. So in the middle of Makahiki season, somebody noticed some strange clouds off in the distance back yonder, and they kept looking at them, and these weren't regular clouds because they weren't in the sky. They were sitting on the water, and they kept getting closer and closer, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And the closer it got to the island, they realized, oh, that's a boat, and it got clouds on the top of it. I ain't never seen nothing like that before. So for 8 weeks, this ship with these huge sails and masts that the indigenous people thought were clouds circled the Hawaiian Islands every day for 8 weeks, and they would send emissaries in boats to go meet these people on the ship, bringing them gifts and things and food, because it's a celebration, might as well have fun. Then on January 17th, 1779, the ship dropped anchor at Kealakekua Bay, and the indigenous people of Hawaii were formally introduced to Captain James Cook. And those who thought he was the god Lono began to side-eye him a little bit, talking about, how come he don't speak our language? How come he don't know our customs and traditions? Others justified it by saying, he's been gone for a while, so maybe he just forgot. They was like, okay, cool, but I still got my eye on him. So since it was festival season, a time of peace, they were like, cool, we'll keep the party going. So Captain Cook and his men ate their food, drank their drink, participated in their festivities, and slept with their women. And in exchange, they gave the indigenous people of Hawaii tuberculosis, gonorrhea, and syphilis. See, this is something that these filthy Europeans had been doing consistently since 1492, when they found out that the people of the New World weren't immune to their diseases. And in about 300 years, with just their diseases alone, they killed hundreds of millions of indigenous people around the world. So after a month of partying with the good people of Hawaii, Captain Cook and them got back on their ship, told everybody goodbye, and they went on their way to go find the Northwest Passage. But they ran into some bad weather, broke a mast, and 4 days later, they came back to the island. Now, this is after Lono season, so the good people of Hawaii was like, what the hell are you doing here? Well, hey, guys, look, we're just here for a little bit. We need to fix our ship, get some supplies, and then we'll be on our way. Why don't you give us some of that wood you got sitting over there that you ain't using in it? We'll use that to fix our mast, and we'll be on our way. And the indigenous people of Hawaii was like, no, that's our sacred burial grounds. That's reserved for our kings, our high priests, our gods. You can't have it. Captain Cook was like, well, how about we give you some nails and hatchets for it? How about that? It's iron. And it was like, no, we told you this is sacred. You can't take it. Now, they pissed off now because now you're insulting them. So Captain Cook was like, well, if you won't give it to us, we'll take it. And he ordered his men to go chop down this people's wood and take it from them. And that's exactly what his men went and did. They chopped down the wooden borders to their burial grounds, loaded the wood onto boats, and was getting ready to sail the boats back to the ship so they can use it to fix their masts. Now, it took them 19 days to fix both their ships and piss off an entire nation of people. And on February 6th, they left Kealakekua Bay. But they didn't get far, because they were met with bad weather that broke everything Cook and his men just fixed. And on February 11th, they sailed right back to Kealakekua Bay and was like, hey guys, we need more supplies. Now, this ain't do nothing but piss the indigenous people of Hawaii off. How dare you come back to our home and demand from us after you've treated us with such disrespect, and we were nothing but nice to you? How dare you? Now, the only way Cook and his men could get from ship to shore was by using longboats. So the indigenous people of Hawaii was like, you know what? We gonna take your longboat and see how far you can get now. Because after partying with them for a month, they knew Captain Cook couldn't swim. So Captain Cook was like, I'm gonna teach them a lesson. I'm gonna kidnap their king, hold him for ransom until they give us everything we want. Now, that's a tactic that this filthy European employed everywhere he went. He did that to the indigenous people of New Zealand, Australia, Tonga, Tahiti, all the Polynesian islands, and he's doing it again here in Hawaii. So Cook and some armed Marines hop on a longboat, sail to shore, and they march right up to Kalani Opu'u's house, the Ali'i Nui, the king of the Hawaiian Big Island. There they have a conversation, and Cook convinces Kalani Opu'u to come to the ship with him like he's done before. I want to show you something. Come to the ship real quick. So now Cook has Kalani Opu'u by his arm, and he's marching him towards the ship. But then Kalani Opu'u's wife, Kane Kapule, sees what's going on, and she's like, whoa, hey, where you taking him? Stop, bring him back. Hey, y'all come get him. And by the time they got to the beach, Cook and his men were surrounded. Bani Opu'u had two of his youngest sons who were following along with him, and they had already climbed into the longboats thinking that we're going to see the ship again. But it was Kane Kapule who was like, get your ass out there. He ain't taking you to the ship for fun. Get out of there. And after pleading with her husband, Kalani Opu'u is like, wait, this is a trap. So he sat down in the sand wherever he was, and they couldn't move him. Now, by this time, thousands of indigenous Hawaiians had surrounded Cook and his men, and an elderly kahuna showed up carrying a coconut, singing the mele, and he was chanting. Now, Cook and his men was like, say, man, you need to back up. You're too close. You need to back up. And the elderly kahuna, he kept coming with his coconut, chanting this mele, chanting away. So Cook and them grabbed their guns, and now they're pointing them at the crowd, talking about, back, I say, I'm just trying to kidnap your king so that you can do what I want you to do. So Cook and them grabbed Kalani Opu'u and tried to pick him up off his feet, but his wife, Kane Kapule, and two chiefs standing between them, and they're like, you not touching this one. So by this time, Kala Imano Kaho'ova walks up to Cook, and he's like, say, man, you ain't touching this one. So Cook pulls out his broadsword and smacks him on his hand like, no. That's a grown man. No. Now, Chief Kali Imano Kaho'ova grabs Cook by the collar and then pop him over the head with a sharp-toothed club, and then Cook falls back into the sand. And as he's trying to get himself up and stand upright, Nua shows up and stabs Cook real good, jug him real good one time. Now, Cook falls face first in the water, and he drowns because he can't swim, and he's stabbed. And this starts a big old fight between Cook's men and thousands of Hawaiians. Now, 4 of Cook's Royal Marines were killed in the fight, as well as several Hawaiians. The rest of his men made it back to shore, and Cook's body was taken by the indigenous Hawaiians and prepared in a way for burial. Now, the indigenous Hawaiians believed that your power was in your bones. So they cut his body into pieces and baked the flesh from his bones, prepared it, and gave his bones back to Cook's men. And upon receiving his bones, baked as they were, Cook's men were like, did you eat him? Is that what you did? And the indigenous Hawaiians looked at them like, why? Is that what you do? You eat your people like that? And that's how the myth of Hawaiians are cannibals got started, because, white men were confused. So they took Captain Cook's bones, sailed away, and buried him as they do. And that's the story of how indigenous Hawaiians killed Captain Cook on Valentine's Day. Now, if I happen to mispronounce any names, words, or places, please charge it to my head and not my heart. I meant well.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely enjoyed this and I learned a whole lot. You know what? Please, if you like his content, he has the best. He is a great storyteller and a great historian. He is quite very good. So I'm gonna drop his handle in the description box. Feel free to follow him, and please let me know what you all think in the comment section about this. I absolutely want to read your comment. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.